Did you think your video froze? That was just me. Tricked you. Alright, I'm going to spend a couple of minutes telling you why I am putting forward a name and kind of throwing my support behind it as my vote for what our church should be named. I'm not trying to convince you to vote for it or fall in love with this name. I just want to bring you on the journey that God has brought me on to the point where I'm excited about and feeling passionate about a particular name and what it could represent for us as a community coming together. And you know what? If you want to do something similar for the names that you're gonna vote for and kind of uplift and hopefully see move on and us to seriously consider for the name of this, if you want to do a video like this or type something out, then do it, and we'll make sure it's posted, and we can invite each other into the journeys behind the feelings and the passions that we have and the reasons that we're going in the directions we're going. For me, it's been a long journey. I've thought of probably 50,000 names and probably read about 1 million more online, in books, trying to figure out, God, what's the name for us? And part of the problem has been that I have tried to figure out, God, what's the name for us? A comment struck me as a little offensive and perhaps struck a nerve with me. I was looking online at church names. Not a bad thing to do, man. We've all done it, and it's a good way to find out different ways in which people have named their churches. But one of the comment streams was kind of going on and on and on, and a guy said, how about we don't know how to hear from God, church? And I thought, that's a little harsh. You know, somebody's asking for suggestions for church names. This isn't a wrong thing to do. I thought that was a really bad attitude, but it struck a chord in me and reminded me that I probably haven't asked God enough, haven't set aside enough time to just listen. And I don't know about you, I know for me that this has been kind of a weighty, a burdensome thing, trying to figure like, oh man, we're moving towards a deadline, this is so exciting, but how are we going to make it happen in time? And that's a bad question to ask. How are we going to make it happen in time? How, God, are we going to hear from you and pursue you wholeheartedly? That's a question that's worth asking. So last night, I stayed up 2:33 in the morning just on my knees saying, God, speak to me, say something. I don't need a passion for a name that I put forward, but I need a passion for a name. I need you to help me believe and believe in your ability to work through the process of us as a collective team moving towards this thing that you have already decided the end product of. And so anyway, hours and hours last night, nothing. Woke up this morning, spent some time praying, nothing. God, speak to me. I had to drive into Vancouver, so I drove for an hour. God, say something. Nothing. And as I kind of approached Vancouver, I said, God, here I am in the city. I'm going to be meeting with different people. Help me to sense the cravings of the souls of all people and know how we can see those satisfied in the church. And who knows, maybe that's reflected in a church name. I don't know. And so I met with a fella, and then we went down to the Sikh temple, the Gurdwara in Vancouver, and we had lunch with Harminder, the priest there. And as people came up to him, they were thanking him. One woman named Melinda said, you know what, 4 years ago I was homeless, had nothing, and I came here because the Sikh temple will feed anybody who walks through their door. And she said, I came here, and they looked at me on the inside and not from the outside. And she said, because of that, I found a home in the temple and a family in the people. And another man walked up, and with tears welling up in his eyes, he says, I owe my life to this place. I've come here. I'm now clean. They offered me support and encouragement and acceptance in a time in which I wasn't finding that anywhere. And I was just listening to these stories and thinking, man, this is a community where redemption is happening. I want to be a part of a community where redemption is happening. I want to be a part of a community where physical redemption is happening, where emotional redemption and renewal is happening, where relationships are being repaired and rebuilt, where that is happening, and where spiritually people are being redeemed, brought from spiritual death to spiritual life, bought by the blood of Jesus, through the work of Christ on the cross and to the glory of God, people being redeemed in community. And as I walked back to my car, I thought, man, that was really powerful, God. And I thought, redemption, community, redemption, community, redemption, community, church. And as I got in my car, I checked my phone, because you're not allowed to text while you're driving, right? And I had a text waiting for me from a friend of mine who doesn't know God, doesn't go to church, and weeks ago I had texted him and said, hey, what do you think about this word redemption? And he had written back. I had expected that he just didn't bother, but he wrote back, and I was sitting out in the parking lot of the Gurdwara and reading that he says, I think that is a great word. It makes me think of second chances, makes me think of having taken the wrong path in life but being able to redeem it and make it right. Makes me think of being in a community in which that kind of redemption, renewal, chances, grace can happen. I read that text and almost tears coming to my eyes, thinking, when somebody thinks of our church, I want them to think of it as a place where redemption happens in community. And as I kind of reflected on my drive home, I thought, God, I prayed for you to reveal to me the cravings of all people. And all people desire to be in community. And all people desire redemption and renewal and wholeness. And I thought, redemption, community, church. So I don't know if that strikes a chord with you. For me, I'm very excited about putting it forward for us to consider and pray over. I don't want to, I'm not even going to say anymore because I want to talk about it. But again, I don't want to convince anybody of anything. I want God to speak and reveal what is He saying to you about the name of our church. That's what He's saying to me. I'm excited to see how the next couple of days unfold. I encourage you, spend some time on your knees and say, God, speak to me. What is it that you want our church to be named? Not because it's the most important part of our church, but because it is an important one. How can we have a name that does all the things that we want it to do, but much more importantly, that does the things you want it to do? Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I love each of you. I'm excited to be sharing this journey with you. I hope you feel and sense that as we spend time together. Looking forward to seeing what happens here. We'll talk to you soon.